What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Naturally Yours podcast. On today, I have a very special guest by the name of Brento. Brento is a once Wall Street professional and now full time entrepreneur, plus a DJ, and he has DJ for some of the biggest names in the music industry, to name a few Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa. And he is also a traveler. So help me welcome my bro, Brento.
Much love. That's very kind. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You,
And you
you're
have a
welcome.
wonderful setup. I need to take some notes, some aesthetic, interior design, decoration notes from you because that's a big vibe you got over there.
Thank you.
Yes, it is.
I love fur, and I was like, this is going to have to help bring out the furniture.
That's the vibe. It's a big vibe.
Thank you. No one's ever complimented the background, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, we here. We here.
Yes, we hear. So, Brento, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the world and let them know exactly who you are and what you currently do.
Absolutely. So, my name is Brento. I'm born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, educated by Howard University, and currently residing in Brooklyn, New York. Former Wall Street professional. I did years at Goldman Sachs, which is one of the most premier investment banks in the industry. I went from there to JP Morgan on the client side. But I was always involved within the music industry while I was doing my Wall Street career. So, for instance, I vividly remember the day that I received the news that I had a placement with The Game and DJ Quick on the production side. And I'm sitting at my desk at Goldman, and I literally tweeted, I favorited the tweet. And I'm just like, if I'm doing beats for The Game, why am I at work at a job that I don't like? And
Right.
to be clear, it's a blessing that I was at that job because it's something that is very momentous, and it afforded me the opportunities to travel and finance myself and live in New York and do all of that. So I don't want to act like I'm taking that for granted. That was a great opportunity, but I knew that I didn't have the same passion as my coworkers. My coworkers would come to work every day super focused, on
Hmm.
fire, like, let's get these reports. And I just was not that passionate. I was like, y'all really care about this?
Right.
Mm. uh, Retroactively speaking, I did end up taking another position after Goldman at JP Morgan. But as I look back, I had already mentally checked out of the corporate structure. I just let somebody throw in a couple more dollars at me, keep me where I wasn't supposed to be. Right.
Mm.
So I spent a few more years at JP Morgan, even though I knew that that's not what I wanted to do. And it came to a point, during this time, I had become a DJ as well because I wasn't originally a DJ by trade. I was a producer, but
Mm.
I would go to these industry mixers in New York, and I guess in New York they just associate producing with DJing. So they just like,
Mm.
hey, come DJ my single release party or my art gallery opening. And I kept saying no, and there were just so many no's. I'm like, look, y'all must think I'm a DJ, so I utilized my Rolodex. Shout outs to DJ Earns. He was Funk Flex's assistant at the time. And I just told him, like, look, I want to learn how to DJ. And he taught me the basics. I was already musically inclined, been playing piano since I was 5 years old. So it wasn't nothing to put the pieces together and kind of jump in. But
Right.
as soon as I learned the skill set, full throttle, another opportunity came through. And my first gig, like, this is my first time DJing. I opened up for Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg, like, just out the gate, 4 or 5 thousand
That is
people. I'm like, what am I doing?
okay. That
Right.
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. I
So,
know that was like life changing, like blew
wow.
your mind. Like, am I really opening for them?
Right, right. And you kind of get that sense, like, what am I doing? But we here. Somebody got to,
Yes.
well, why not me?
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
all of these opportunities kept coming up, and it got to a point where things were getting tumultuous at the job. I'm not a really high performer. I'm just kind of doing the bare minimum to not get fired. And
Hmm.
of course, the pandemic happened, and opportunities are coming my way. So I had I knew the writing was on the wall eventually, for my time at
Right.
Yeah, keep morning. So I had my savings. I had 6 months of savings saved up just in case anything happened. I was
Hmm.
good. And then I'm getting DJ gigs. I'm getting producing gigs, and then I'm getting outside consulting gigs where I could use my knowledge based on what I learned at Wall Street to help out other people in other aspects. So in
Yes.
December of 2020, I just went ahead and said, look, I'm done with this, and we just gonna see how things go, for a couple months outside of that. And we look up 3 years later, I'm still here.
Hmm.
So that's
Yes.
that's I tried to make it brief, but that's kind of like the overview of me.
Of your story, of
Right.
you. Yes. I love that. I love that. I love how you first started in the corporate world. And our stories are kind of similar, except for I don't have all that razzle dazzle in there. But but I was in a corporate job too. Like I used to work at Blue Cross Blue Shield
Mhm.
for like 7 years, 7.5 years.
Oh wow.
And I got to a point where I was telling my husband, like, babe, I'm just not happy. I'm not happy. I used to cringe
Wow.
getting out of the bed on Monday to go in there.
I know how that.
Like, I'm like, I used to dread Mondays because I was like, I don't want to go in here. I just don't like the energy. I don't want to be micromanaged. I don't want to be in here. So I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like, and honestly, if they probably would have left me home full time instead of making me come into the office, I probably would still be there.
Mm,
But the fact that they made me leave my home to come in there to be micromanaged, I was like, I'm not feeling this building. I'm not feeling this energy. I'm not feeling these people. And
co-workers.
I was like, I'm not 5 years old. I don't want to be micromanaged. So I'm like, I'm just done. I'm tired of this. I told my husband, like, babe, I don't want to do this no more. I'm just gonna, find off jobs to do right now
Yeah.
and work on my business. And I was like, because I don't want to do this. Plus, I honestly don't like being told what to do. I like to be my own boss.
Yes.
I like to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Yeah. I'm
So
saying that.
kudos to you
Kudos
on.
to you. Really. Kudos.
Thank you. Thank you. So I wanted to ask you, was there anyone that actually inspired you also to move into the entrepreneur lane? Like, did you see anyone like successful that maybe you was like, they can do it, I can do it. Like it motivated you or inspired you to because for me, it was my brother. Like he went from corporate America, making nice money too. And, then left and went full time content creator.
Nice.
And now has almost 80,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel.
Ooh, that's incredible. Salute.
I know.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
dope.
I'm so proud of him.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would say the entrepreneurship in my life growing up in Chicago, I only really had one example of an entrepreneur. My best friend's dad was a serial entrepreneur, but none of the ideas necessarily panned out. So he was a manager, at local department stores, but he would always have a side business. When we were really young, it was a t-shirt printing business. It started off in the garage, then it got successful. They got a brick and mortar. Things
Hmm.
happened, it didn't work out. Then he started a restaurant, barbecue, didn't work out. So that was the only example of a entrepreneur that I saw as a child. Now my aunt,
Hmm.
her a lot of credit because she spoke that into me at a young age. She knew she told me she would never worry about me because as a kid, because she knew I wasn't gonna do anything that I didn't want to do. Like she saw that in me as a child, and even when I was applying to college, we formed my the letter of intent around entrepreneurship because she just always saw that in me. But it's not necessarily something I saw in myself. But as I grow up and I get in contact with a myriad of different people and I'm seeing the different walks of life and especially the creative industry here in New York, as well as on social media, I start to realize the possibilities and that these people don't possess any type of skill set that I don't have. So if they're able to figure that out, I'm very confident in myself that I can too. So I just made the decision to do it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So I would say, I think she rubbed off on you a little bit.
Oh,
Being a serial
that's-
entrepreneur, I would say you're a serial entrepreneur, right?
yeah, I would say so. Yes.
Yes. So why don't we dig into that a little bit?
Okay.
So, with you being an entrepreneur, why don't you tell us a little bit what you do on a daily basis? Like, what is that? What does your typical day look like?
Yeah, so my typical day, I'll take it throughout the week because it differs for the different days between the DJing and then my consulting company. So my main bread and butter right now is DJing. So I have a residency in New York on Fridays and Saturdays, and then I'm also a touring DJ for a podcast that's traveling domestically and internationally. So if I'm not working on either of those, I'm considering clients for my consulting company. Now, my consulting company focuses on three different aspects. And one aspect, there's a travel business. It's called Immaculate Travel Worldwide. What we do is we provide executive travel services for small to medium businesses. And what we do is we make it easier for their employees to go to banquets or to go to workshops or week long workshops. And the position that we're doing is that we don't want them to spend time, valuable office time, booking flights, checking in. We package up the whole process and we make it easier. There's also a Turo aspect to that as well. So I do Turo rentals out of Brooklyn. So that's the travel aspect.
Oh, I
Now,
love that.
yeah, so I also do consulting for C-suite executives, helping them to increase just their personal brand and their presence on social media. So right now, uh, take for instance two of my clients. One is a senior executive at Warner Music Group. Sometimes I travel with him to make sure that he's capturing his content, he's getting his vlogs uploaded, and he's just presenting the personality on screen that matches what he has going on. He's so busy, he can't really focus on, you know, posting on social media and things like that. So I streamline that process. I also do that
Nice.
for an executive in Chicago as well who runs basketball leagues. So that's that
So,
aspect. And then finally, I
uh-huh.
raise capital on behalf of hedge funds. So this is where my finance knowledge kicks in. So
Oh,
yeah, so
crypto.
exactly. So um, there's a commercial hedge fund over in Los Angeles that I work closely with,
Mhm.
and basically they bring me deals that they want to do. Say if they want to buy a software app or they want to buy some intellectual property and they need investors, I'm the person that seeks out investors on their behalf and gets them to raise the capital. So,
Oh, I love that. I love that.
yeah,
Wow.
a lot of different moving pieces. And to answer your question, my day to day is basically going through my project management system and making sure all the tasks are complete for these different variations. Right now, I'm running a one man show. I do use other consultants where need be, but really everything is run through me. And thankfully, with me DJing just Fridays and Saturdays, or when I'm traveling, as long as I can stay on top of my time management, which was definitely a learning curve for me. I was not, coming from a corporate background where somebody is telling you
Hmm.
the deliverables that you need to do versus now you creating them and having to do them. This is a
Right.
big adjustment.
Right.
So my day to day is just spent making sure all of the tasks are complete.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Man, you have your hands busy.
Yeah,
You're doing
definitely.
a lot. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
That's phenomenal.
you. That means a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, now that you are good with time management, how can you give these new entrepreneurs some tips on how to manage their time, like me? Because I
Mhm.
am definitely working on my time
Yeah.
daily and I need to get better. So I know I'm not the only one. So, how about you give us some tips on how we can better our time?
Yeah. One thing with me when I didn't have as much control over my time is because I wasn't clear on what goals I wanted to accomplish. So I
Oh,
would do it. I would do a little bit of this. I would do a little bit of that, and then I would be like, "Oh well, let me get back to this," because I didn't really have a set timeline or date when something needed to be completed. So I would just kind of mosey around until I did a little bit of everything, and then you look up, nothing is really done and you don't really have a plan. So I always encourage everyone to set out clear goals. Okay, this week I'm going to reach out to this many clients and pitch this many clients on the travel business. Or this week my goal is to raise X amount of dollars for this hedge fund. Or this week I want to make sure that the Turo is rented out X amount of days. Maybe I need to shoot a new commercial or I need to post inside some Facebook groups and ask if anybody needs the car. Um, if you have those quote unquote deliverables, now you can check those off. Once they're written down, you can kind of get validation when you put a check mark to them or you put an X through them. Now it's like, okay, I finished that, I accomplished that. And I think once you put concrete goals in mind of what to complete, then you'll finish them.
Yeah, you're right. You got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. And then stick to the
Yep.
plan. Like what you
Absolutely.
got written down, don't deviate from it. Stick to the plan.
Absolutely, because there's always something new. That's one thing,
Yes.
especially in our conversations and our dialogues. You're gonna come across entrepreneurs that are getting rich, doing this, that, and you're like, oh, I could do that. So I'm gonna do a little bit of that too, and then I'm gonna
Right.
hop over here. But we gotta realize,
Right. That used to be me.
see, me too. Me too. Man, you doing that? You making how much? Oh, okay, I can do that. But we're not realizing that that's 10 years plus that they've been putting in on that, and you just have to really stick to what you're good at because nobody can do you like you. And that's your secret
Exactly.
sauce. That's the magic power, and you're not gonna have any fulfillment unless you're doing it the way you want to do it anyways. Because that or else you wouldn't be an entrepreneur, or else you would have just been fine being at the job and doing that. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with the job, but if you have the type of personality where you want to do for self, you have to unapologetically remain in your authentic self, and then that'll take you the furthest.
Oh, you said a word right there because
Oh,
being your authentic self is so
absolutely,
important. Because
absolutely,
how can you grow a brand if you're not authentic?
yeah,
You're
yeah,
nobody knows you. Nobody knows who you are. They can't like, know, and trust you because you're not being authentic. You got a mask on.
right. And if you're not on fire for what you're doing, like if you come to a lukewarm, how can you expect anybody else to believe in you? I use the Last Dance documentary as an example of that. Michael Jordan and how he practiced. Obviously, I'm from Chicago, so growing up,
I'm 3 hours away from there. We
it's not
native.
every summer of my childhood was kicked off by winning the championship. So it's just I just always looked to Mike as like a superhero. I think a lot of people do, but just seeing that documentary and seeing how hard he practiced, not just how hard he did in the game, but it caused all the rest of the players to rise to the occasion. Why? Because Michael Jordan, who's clearly the best basketball player I've ever seen, is going 200% in practice. This is not even a game, right?
Right.
So, in order for not to pick on any of the role players, but like Bill Winnington or Ron Harper, who they're not Michael Jordan. In order
Right.
for them to operate at 80% of their potential, Michael Jordan has to be operating at 200% just to inspire the work from everybody else. Take it from me, like at corporate America, I'm putting in 40% of my capacity. Now, if I tried very hard, I probably could have been very successful, but I didn't see a leader that inspired that action out of me. So what I'm saying is, as entrepreneurs in our business and being the face of our business, we have to go 200% so a potential client can just meet us even halfway and be excited about our product. If we're not excited about it and our offering, why would anybody spend money with us?
Exactly. 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 And I feel like they're gonna feel that energy.
It's
Like if you
undeniable.
on fire about it, if you are excited about it, they're gonna feel it. Or if you're not really that excited about it, they're gonna feel it.
Right. And
Yes.
who spends money on something they're not excited about? It's money
I
it's too hard to come by. No, I'm not. You don't even believe in that. I'm not spending that with you.
right. I'm not we not in the times of just wasting money.
Exactly. That's
No, not at all. Not at all. So what would you say your brand mission is? Since you wear so many hats and you have like three, four businesses
yeah.
combined, what would you say your brand mission is?
So my whole brand mission and the umbrella that all of my businesses fall under is a mantra that I came up with called "Decide to Finish," and
Yes.
it stems from from Chicago, so that has a big impact on everything I do. But it's a Kanye lyric in "School Spirit" on a college dropout, where there's a voice on the track that says, "Oh, you graduated?" And he says, "Nah, I decided I was finished." And I felt that on the level because I felt that's what I did with Wall Street.
Yes.
So felt like, I just decided I was finished with Wall Street. And then it grew from that. It's just like, no, I decided to finish being mediocre. I decided to finish being somebody that is not my full potential. I just put
Right.
everything away and I'm just deciding to finish and being the best person that I could be. So even, I released this merch, the Wall Street Dropout, which y'all can get on storyKingBrent.com, you know. But
Go ahead and cop that.
exactly, go ahead, cop that. But it's just an extension of what I feel about my, not only my brand mission, but like just my life ideology. I kind of compare it to what Nipsey Hussle had with the marathon. It's just
Yes.
all encompassing. It's just what I stand for and what I believe, and everything that I'm involved with ties to that mantra of deciding to finish. So whatever that
Yes.
may be, you know, in your life, just
Yes.
make a decision to finish it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Decide,
Yeah.
commit, and
Yes.
do it. Yes. I love that mantra because I think I don't think, I believe it's needed because so many people um, are mediocre when they
Yeah.
could be way more than that
And
because
they
they
know
doubt themselves, they're
that.
fearful, they're afraid of what other people gonna think about them. They basically let people dictate their life because
Yeah.
you're so worried about what the next person thinks about you or what you're doing or what you're pursuing. You
Mhm.
can't even pursue what you really have a passion for because you're too scared
Right.
to step out and believe in yourself. So
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but
it
it's
is.
it's up to people such as us that have the confidence to walk in our truth to inspire that type of action in others. Because everybody has the potential to do it. Not everyone necessarily believes, but if they can see it,
Exactly.
they'll have a better opportunity. You inspire people not just by only talking to them, but just living in your truth. People are going to draw their own conclusions off of that. So
Hmm.
control, and that's yourself getting to your fullest potential. And I think through that will impact our friends, our family, and community, and greater society in that way. So being your authentic self can literally change the world. So
Okay. Tell
decide.
them, Brento. Tell them.
Absolutely.
Because we lacking it in this world full of fakeness.
We need it. We need it.
We
More,
need it.
more.
Yes, we need it. It's important. You
Yes.
can't even help the people you need to help if you being fake.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like, come on,
For
pull it
sure.
together.
And Jay-Z said it best. It's like you can't help the poor if you wanted them. I mean, you can give, but just think like you want to acquire wealth not just for yourself, but you want to make sure everybody around you is able to uh
Right,
lay in the fruits of your labor. So if you
right.
keep in a pure place, I think the accumulation of money is a good thing. A lot of times, especially in the black community,
Oh,
we
yeah.
we demonized money. We've looked at it as evil, and I really think that's a trick bag. Somebody kind of tricked us into thinking that, because
Right,
money is it's not evil. It's a tool. It's a
right.
tool to improve the lives of others, and in this capitalistic society that we are a part of, is
Hmm.
necessary. So this is the game. We might as well play to win.
Yes, yes. And I feel like I agree with you. It's not evil, but it's where your heart is with the money. Is your heart pure? Is your heart genuine? Or are
Right.
you filled with greed and
Right.
selfishness and pettiness?
Mhm.
And are you not a good person?
Right.
Like that's what it comes down to. Those type of people with money, that's what makes the money bad on their end. But
Absolutely.
for people who have a genuine and pure heart,
Mhm.
it means abundance for more people, help, like
Yes.
because they're not afraid of giving, they're not selfish.
Right. Yeah, a lot of times, what you spoke on is it requires a lot of self work and a lot of looking in the mirror and
Hmm.
harsh truths, and
Yes,
a lot of
you
people
gotta have them.
are able to do that. So I would encourage. I would imagine the people tuning in with us are on the same wave frequency. Just get your heart as pure as possible, and you might inspire somebody that has a tough time getting
Yes,
years.
yes. I was gonna ask you, what would be one or two tips that you would give to somebody that is currently working a 9 to 5, and let's say they want to get out. Let's say they don't want to stay at that 9 to 5. They want to get out and see what's out there, become an entrepreneur, but they don't know what that looks like. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to begin. They
Yeah,
may have a little bit of fear. So, what would you say to them right
yeah.
now?
Now, this would be specifically for the people who have a 9 to 5 that want to enter entrepreneurship. Because I'm always careful to say I'm not one of those people that believes everybody should be an entrepreneur. I think
Right,
I think
right,
it's just if that's in your heart and you're not taking that step, then yeah, we're gonna give you that extra push. But if you totally cool with playing the game and doing what you got to do and come home, that's fine too. Like
Right.
there's
That's fine too.
my life would be a lot simpler, if I was just like that. And I probably would be further along, to be honest. But my first tip is integral. And I think you need to build up 6 to 9 months of money in your savings account, liquid. Whereas if you did not make one penny, you would be able to pay your bills. I'm talking about get your hair cut, get your nails done. And you need to factor in all of that, not just the rent and the electricity, but I'm talking about your Uber money, your,
Mm-hmm.
your
All the stuff that you be
food.
doing outside of work.
Exactly, right. So once you see that amount sitting in your bank account, you'll walk around at your job that you don't like with a different level of peace, because if they called you in that office today and ended everything, it's cool. I'm good. Like you,
Right. I
you
ain't
don't
got nothing to worry about.
you don't have that power over me, and that's what the 9 to 5 has over us. It has the financial power.
Mm-hmm.
To realize is that these jobs are a two-way street. They need our skill set as much as we need their paycheck. So
Exactly.
once we look at it like that, you have to give the power back to yourself, but the power does start with that financial security. So first things first, you have to get that savings in order. If you can't do 6 months, at least do 3 months, but you have to have it liquid before you start your journey. And it's not always just about quitting outright and then figuring it out. Figure it out along the way. But the second part of your question was if they weren't sure what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, I've thrown a lot of things at the wall, and I've had a lot of failed businesses, and I've tried to do things that I saw people do online. I think that stuff is important. I think self education is something
Mm-hmm.
that you dive into fully. Read as much as possible into what you're interested in, and consume as much content as possible as to what you're interested in. And at the end of the day, what impact do you want to have on people? Because that's how businesses succeed. The biggest companies in the world are solving a problem. you know
Right.
what
Right.
problem what problem do you love to solve, and that you will solve over and over again? What
Right.
industry is that involved in? Once you
Right.
can answer those questions, you can say, okay, I want to do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how first off, how can you solve that problem? And then how can you monetize the way that you're solving that problem? Do you have to build up a community first? Are you selling a product or a service to somebody? um,
Right.
there's some sort of educational content or material that you can do. Do you need to put in work to become a subject matter expert and a leader in that field before you offer um, you know ways to get paid off of it? This is going to come with your studying and with your looking at the ways that you come out on other people. Um, there's like per se no new idea under the sun. Even if you have a completely new way to do something, there's a structure that you can look at to people to follow. People have done the hard work for you. Read the autobiographies, look at people's journey, and just try to cut down on as many mistakes as possible. They're going to come regardless, but
Right.
at least do your part in your research. So when you finally figure out how you want to impact the world and how you're going to monetize off of it, you can cut down on the mistakes on how you're going to get there. But yeah, definitely the savings, and definitely figuring out which problem you want to solve. That's most authentic to you.
Yes. Yes. I definitely agree with those, Brento, for sure. For sure. Because I sure was like when I left my job, I'm like, I'm taking pulling out my 401k.
Right, right.
Okay, give me my pension. Okay. I'm having all of that. Give me mine. I said, I said, if I was to ever get another 9 to 5, I'm never doing another 401k. I'm
Yeah,
getting
I
all
just
my
give you
money.
the 401k. Y'all keep whatever that is.
Right. Give
Right.
me all my money.
You
Period.
know? Yeah.
So I heard you say they should read. And I know a lot of people don't read. They
Yeah.
don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
So are there a couple books that you would recommend that new entrepreneurs should read?
Yeah, there. I mean, I'm pretty sure that these are cliche answers, but when you hear every single entrepreneur say, "Read How to Win Friends and Influence People," or "Read Rich Dad Poor Dad," these are books that contain really the basis of knowledge that you need, to expand your mind and think in the correct way. Because when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's a mental journey. You have to increase your mental capacity to know that. Look, I'm going in uncharted waters, and that's going to take a certain mental tenacity that I didn't need on my 9 to 5. So these books kind of help you frame that mindset on your new journey.
I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. I gotta read the one with the friends.
Oh
My
yeah,
brother told me about that book actually.
yeah. So and everybody says it too. So it's just like when you say those, it's like okay, but no, say it like really lock in, because it
It's
expands.
about relationships,
Right, it's about relationships
and
and
you have to know how to keep healthy relationships.
absolutely, because
It's,
it's all networking. It really gets
hmm
real because you don't get that direct deposit every 2 weeks anymore. If you're not getting those clients and you're not getting those invoices and those invoices aren't getting billed, you don't eat. So it's a different type of tenacity and
okay.
intention that you need, in the entrepreneurship world. And you get paid last. I might have to pay out a vendor or a graphic designer or an editor. You just taking up the crumbs. So you have to have the mental tenacity to get through.
Yes, yes. So I would say if you struggling, working a 9 to 5,
Yeah.
then you definitely want to build up your mindset
Mhm.
before you enter entrepreneurship because it is challenging. It's
That-
very challenging. And there may be weeks, months that you don't make a sale in your business.
Yep.
And then,
And now that savings for sure.
yeah, the savings got to come into mind, or you got to go out here and do an odd job or gig to make that money come in.
Mhm.
And it's not for the weak.
No, it's not.
It's not for the weak because
No.
this is not these are not games. This is serious business over here.
Yeah.
And you cannot be weak minded.
It's all a mental game, and as you go through the entrepreneurship journey or any journey that you're going through, you realize that everything in life is mental. There are blocks, and there's unfair advantages that we all focus on. Everybody has a sob story, everybody has a villain origin story, but it's how do you react. One of my 8th grade teacher used to make us recite the attitude poem every morning, and I still know it, but one of the lines in it is, life is 10% how you it's 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. And bad things happen. This is just what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and act like bad things don't happen, but it's just how you react to that and the resiliency that you're gonna show through that, which is gonna prove whether you get through it or not, or you're gonna come out on the other side as victorious.
I definitely agree with that. I
Mhm.
definitely agree with that. We have to be logical thinkers and not, think off emotion. Because
Yeah.
I
Right.
was one to
Right.
just spur off of emotions, and that tears down relationships. It
Yes.
makes people not want to be around you.
Mhm.
Um, it makes you stay stuck. You
Yeah.
can't move forward if that's how you act. No
Absolutely.
one's gonna want to do business with you. No one's gonna be want to have any type of connection with you. They're not gonna recommend you because you respond off of emotion.
Exactly.
So
And
that is
that's a
valid
big
right
key,
there.
like about people recommending you, because that's a big part of business when you're an entrepreneur
Hmm.
is the referrals. You know,
Yes. How do you want to be remembered?
deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you make people feel some type of way and that's how they remember you,
Yeah,
they're going to spread the word like, I wouldn't do business with them, or I did not have a good experience. And people live for the reviews. I know I do. I'm checking the website, I'm looking for the reviews, seeing the star, I'm checking what the people are saying.
absolutely.
I'm seeing how long that review was, how recent. I'm
Uh,
doing all of it. And if I see too many bad things, or maybe just a couple. It ain't even got to be too many.
don't
Just a
take
couple
that.
bad ones. That's enough for me, and I'm gonna keep it moving.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, yeah. So before we close up today, Brento, this has been phenomenal. I know
Thank
you're
you.
busy and you have so many things to do. What would be one thing you would leave the people with? But I did want to ask you before you answer that.
Mhm.
What is one thing that makes you work hard in your business or in life?
I would say the thought that I know what my best self looks like and I haven't reached it yet. And I feel like I would be doing a sincere disservice to my parents and my community and the people that do believe in me across the course of my life if I don't fulfill what I'm supposed to do. It's almost like a double edged sword because say if I do accomplish something that's momentous, people will kind of be like, yeah, okay, I expect that. Like that's what you're supposed to do.
Hmm.
That's Brent. That's what he does. But if I don't, I almost feel like I would be letting myself down and my community of people who do that, and especially my mom and my sister. I want to give them a life of leisure. So
Right.
that's my
Right.
my motivation. To power through.
That's what's up. I love that. I love that. I know they super proud of you for everything you've accomplished thus far and more to come. So I
Absolutely.
wish you nothing but success, Brento.
Likewise, for sure. Likewise.
Thank
This
you. Thank you.
right.
Um, and then what would be one thing you would leave with the people today?
So the one thing I want to make sure I drive home, and I said it already, but I'm gonna say this every time. Decide to finish. You have to make a decision on what you want to do and how you want your life to go. If you don't gain some sort of clarity about who you want to be and what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, I got news for you. It's not gonna happen because it's not just gonna come to you out of thin air. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just something is not just gonna happen to all of a sudden change your life at some sort of moment. That's not how it works. This isn't the Disney Channel. So we have to sit down and we have to really figure out what we want to do, where we want to be, what our real goals are, and you have to really turn it on mentally and say, "Look, I decided I'm done with excuses. I
Mm-hmm.
in 2023, I'm not playing with me. I'm just
Okay.
I'm gonna decide to finish everything, and I'm gonna just live my life that way. Every day, I have a goal to accomplish, and I'm deciding to finish it, and I'm gonna be relentless and unapologetic into getting into that.
Yes. I love that answer. That
So,
was phenomenal.
thank you.
That was phenomenal. So why don't you let them know where to find you, where to follow you, if they want to do business with you, where they can contact you at.
Yes, 100%. Please reach out to me via social media on all social medias on everything. I am Story King Brent. That's at StoryKingBrent. Please reach out to me. I'm based in Brooklyn, New York, but I travel often. Any small to medium sized businesses that need to streamline their travel services, please reach out to me. We will send you a package. I'm always open to listen to anyone who has dollars that they need to invest. In purchasing businesses, things of that nature, please reach out to me. You all can see all of my materials and my journeys on my YouTube channel. I've really been pumping a lot of content out there. Story King Brent on YouTube. That's where you see all of my DJ journeys, my travel journeys, and just my vlogs for my day to day life. And I just look forward to tapping in with everybody.
Yes, yes. Well, I plan to catch up with you in about 6 months or so, see
Okay,
how you're doing, see what's new.
let's do that.
But thank you so much for blessing the platform with all your knowledge,
Thank
um, with your story. It's been very impactful for me, and I'm sure it's going to be impactful for everyone else that's watching.
you. Absolutely. I appreciate you even considering me to be a part of your platform. I was very excited to do this, and I'm glad we took the time to do it for sure.
Yes, yes. You have a great story. You have a great spirit, and it's only right to highlight our kings who are doing positive things in the world and bringing more awareness to that, because that's what we need to bring more awareness to: positive things and love,
Yes,
light, instead of all this negativity
for sure.
that's going on. So yeah, I'm
That's
all about shining lights.
got to do it. Shine a light. www.storykingbrent.com for your Wall Street Dropout merch and everything else. That's it. Decide to finish.
Yes, decide to finish, y'all, and finish this episode.
That's real. And hit subscribe, like, comment, tie the natural everywhere.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Renzo. Appreciate you, bro.
That's
And thank you guys for listening and watching. And we out. Peace.